What are you doing? Are you grumbling at me because of the beepies? Sorry, I changed the video. No more beeps. Hi everyone. Hope you're all having a great weekend. Sunday morning, beautiful day. Yesterday we got into the low 80s. Supposed to do the same today, but they got rain in the forecast. So we just came down here to the town park, and on the baseball fields up top there, every field has a softball game, fast pitch. And man, that takes me back to when I was coaching my daughter's teams. I can't help but stand and watch, but Lefty keeps pulling me to walk, so I couldn't stick around. So I went up to the shop yesterday, Saturday, basically a skeleton crew on the weekends there, because we've been plugging the truck in, you know, the inverter charger to keep the batteries topped up, because it's been inside out of the sun, so it's getting no solar. So to give you a rundown of what's going on, the truck has not been disassembled yet. He wants all the parts in before he disassembles it, because once he takes it apart, it's now stuck on the lift, you know, and can't be moved. So Friday, he moved it over. He's got two 12,000-pound lifts, regular frame lift, and then he's got a roll-on lift, and that's what you saw it sitting on, was the roll-on lift. But he can't work on it on that one because it raises, when you raise it up, it raises from the axle, so he can't work on it on that lift. So he put it over on the same lift that he had it on a couple months ago, and it didn't want to lift it up. He had a problem. Because the other day when I talked to him, he asked me, he said, "Is this thing way more than it did last time it was in?" And I'm like, I couldn't really remember what was in it or in the garage when I took it to him last time. Like, quite possibly my toolboxes, and the four of them weigh, you know, maybe I estimate 120 pounds. Other than that, you know, the fridge and freezer are full of food. There's some food in the cabinet. You know, I don't know what all that weighs. There's no water in it. So my answer to him was, and I went up there and talked to him about it. I said, it's, you know, it's possible, yes, that it weighs, you know, maybe 200 pounds more than it did last time. So his lifts can hold 12,000 pounds. But I told him, I've been across the scales with my rig, and the most it weighed with me, Lefty, and the motorcycle on the back was 11,800. So if you take the bike and me and Lefty, that's like 500 pounds. So that puts us at 11,300. The lift that lifted it 2 months ago didn't want to lift it this time. He showed me one of the hydraulic lines started leaking. Friday he moved it over off of the roll lift. He moved it over to the other frame lift, 12,000 pound post lift. And that's what he's got it set up on now. So today's Sunday, like I said, he was off yesterday and today. So I've been going in there, plug it in. But I also showed him, I said, if you want me to unload some of these cabinets to take some of the weight off, I can take out my generator, I can take out my toolboxes, I can take out the 2 milk crates that have fluids and liquids and some other tools and stuff. I could probably drop, you know, that's probably 250 to 300 pounds in 5 minutes. I could empty that stuff out. And so I showed him where all that stuff was, and he said, if I need to, I will take that stuff out and set it to the side. He doesn't want to take it out and leave it sitting in the shop, you know, when he's not right there, so meaning over the weekend. So if he needs to unload that stuff, but I ran an extension cord to plug in so that the inverter charger could keep the batteries, because they got down to 55%, which is the lowest I've ever had those lithiums. And that was after, what, 3 days of being inside with no sun and I went in yesterday, plugged it in the morning, turned it on, and then I went back at the end of the afternoon, at the end of when they were closing up, and unplugged it and turned everything off, and it was up at 100. It was on float, so the batteries had gotten all the way juiced up to get through last night, all of today, tonight, and then into tomorrow, and he can plug it back in. He knows. I showed him the inverter switch that he can flip on and plug it in, and showed him where the battery meters are. But I'm going to go up there tomorrow morning. I've been going up every day. What he thinks is that he didn't get the pinion depth preload set correctly. So that's what he believes caused the overheating. So as much as I'd like to give you all the definitive answer on what's going on with it, I don't have it yet. And I'm not going to have it until he takes it apart, which, you know, I didn't talk to him yesterday because he wasn't in, but he's got it over on the post lift. He's got it set up on the lift, and it looks to me like he's planning to tear it apart tomorrow. So I'm going to go in there first thing in the AM, see if he needs me to take the stuff out of the cabinets to reduce the weight, and then, you know, again, encourage him to get me up and on the way. When this first happened, you know, I was in, like, you know, I'm going to call it shock, basically. It was, you know, all this stuff going through my head. But then after a day or two of letting it soak in, you know, what is the downside and the calamity? It's not like I'm not missing work. I'm not, you know, Lefty's with me, everything. We've got a place to sleep now back at Mom's. So it's not so bad. It was just rough there the first couple of days. You know, we spent the night in the hotel. That was terrible. Staying with Daylin was really fun. You know, as much as I know I disrupted her mojo over there, it was really nice to spend that time with her. You know, it's been years since Daylin and I have woke up in the same location together and said good morning to each other. You know, years. I can't even remember the last time. It was a nice little thing. Silver lining, right? Since we're in this holding pattern with the truck, I thought this would be a good chance. Hold on. A good chance to show some of the last projects that I did on the truck before we pulled out of here last week. So these couple of things that I'm going to show you, a few things, are just some of the last days right up before we left, and some of the last things that I did to the rig. Okay, I have some shelf liner that I'm going to put down. So this is supposed to be non-slip, washable, easy to cut. So it's kind of a rubbery feeling plastic. It's very thin, so when I first got it I was hesitant that it was going to work, but after I just opened it up and actually feel the material, I think the challenge is going to be getting it to lay down. You know, it's been rolled up this tight for a while. That long boat ride, you know, from where the shelf liner trees grow and they pick them and then ship them. Oh, I think I might like this. So my rig has shelves that have two different depths to them. So the lower one is 18 inches and then the upper is 12 inches. So I went on the jungle and lo and behold, I found this style that came in, this is like 17.5 and that's 11.5, I think. So no trimming needed as far as how wide they are. I just got to cut them to length. And I've got this cabinet pretty much emptied out except for my separators. And maybe it's time to, I don't know, get rid of those. They worked. It kept my canned food from sliding all the way down when we would stop and go. It definitely worked. Let me see what we can figure out. There's actually a piece of aluminum trim here. So I mean, if these were, they're within 1/4 of an inch of the perfect depth. If they were 1/4 of an inch deeper, they would probably snap in, kind of. I'm tempted to put a little bit of spray adhesive underneath these. I'm just thinking about down the road when you want to pull that up. That would be a nightmare. So I'm going to get this cut to length and then lay it in here and see what it looks like. No. Nope. Stay right here. Watch out for Scrappy. 43. 43 inches. I've got a question here. So, do you think that this side is supposed to go down on the shelf and that is up? You know, there's supposed to be no slip. Are they talking about what you set on them doesn't slip, or that these don't slip? Because that's pretty slick. And if that's down against the shelf, and my shelves are already pretty slick. Hush. Hey, don't bark at the nice lady. Come on. Okay. Okay. That's a boy. These poor ladies that live on either side of Mom and Howard just get the full lefty treatment every time they walk out of their houses. I don't know. I'm overthinking it, like usual. What did I say was the measurement? Oh. David. Just losing my gourd. 43. How am I going to cut these? Let me go get a cutting board to put under. Okay. I don't have a ruler that's long enough. I'm going to have to do it in 2 cuts, which I don't like doing. I was watching a YouTube video about the history of Fred Gwynne, you know, the Herman Munster guy. Really amazing, all the stuff that he did. He wrote books, he was an illustrator, like he was an artist. His mom was an artist. He got married, his first kid fell and had an accident and brain injury, so then had epilepsy, and then 2 more kids, but the 3rd kid fell in the swimming pool and drowned. And all he went through, you know, because he was really kind of the Herman Munster role. Somebody plays a monster, it's hard to shake that out of people's minds, right? Alright, here we go. We're going to do this. I'm just going to wing it. Okay, nice. Got one. I like that. That looks really good. It's laying pretty flat. It had a little note on the packaging that when you first lay it down, if it's all bowed up and everything, just let it relax and rest. I think it's going to work out just fine. Yep, because you know the bills are going all the way this year. Didn't I say that last year? Okay, we're going to trim the 18-inch for the other cabinets, 54 inches. So it's 11 inches longer than over here. What's up, old man?
Oh, staying here trying to debating on what sleeping bag to get.
Do they have a good selection?
Yeah, they got a good selection, but I can't find the one I'm looking for, though.
Oh, you're looking for a specific one?
Yeah.
Why don't I ride over there? I'll ride over there and meet you.
Okay.
Sound good?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be there shortly.
Great.
Oh, you heard me say that? Yes, you did, huh? Okay, so here's what we're doing today. So this is going to be my air dam that goes in front of the solar panels on the leading edge of the truck. I guess this is like a drip edge for rain. This is aluminum. So I ordered 2 pieces. They'll have a seam right in the middle of the rig, and you see I've got those wires that go up. So I cut a little relief at the ends of both of them, so right in the middle there'll be a little mouse hole here that wire will go through, and then I'll plug up the balance of the hole with some silicone so they don't get any whistling. So I've got some 3M 5200 adhesive sealant right there in the caulk gun. I just drilled 4 holes. So each piece is going to have 4 screws. So I am getting ready to apply the sealant to this. I've marked it up there, so once I've got the sealant on and I lay it down, I'll be able to position it exactly so the holes line up with the holes I just drilled. Lefty's enjoying his new bed. Look at that. So I'll show you what we're doing up here. So here's my 4 screws. So it's going right along this edge here. Here's my 4 holes. They're into this round corner that goes around the entire outside of the roof. This is really thick stuff here. So I had to chew on it with the drill bit to get through it. So we're going to slop a bunch of the marine sealant under here, stick it down, screw it, and then some more sealant on the screw heads. Let's do this. So I ordered this in the tan color. It's a little tanner than I like. I probably should have just gotten white. I think I get one shot at laying this down. So I made some marks with a Sharpie down here. I marked my corner on this end. Right there. Okay, so my holes should line up just perfect. It's a little slippery with the glue, so let me get the first one run in down here. And the screw broke. Damn it! I gotta get this busted screw out, hopefully. We're gonna try our new vice grips and see if we can get this busted screw out of here. This makes me so frustrated. I take such care to pick out the right size drill bit for the screw that I'm using. Oh, it turned. I can't get but a little teeny piece of turn on it. Here, let me do this. Let me try doing these other screws so this thing doesn't wobble all over the place. There. Okay, so I picked a different size screw. It worked. Okay, let me go get a couple more. I'm glad you were here live to hear my frustration. So I can fix all this in editing and make it look like I just did everything perfect, right? Man, is this stuff hardening up already? Holy cannolis. I think it is. Alright, let's get this one out. Get a new screw in here. Frustrated. Can only turn it a little bit. It's coming. There, come on, come on. There's a new series I started watching. It's on Amazon. Oh, it's on that Freevee. Used to be IMDb TV. Now it's called Freevee. It's called the series is called Sprung. It's a comedy. Really funny. The guy who's like the main, well, one of the main characters, but I think he is the main character. I like him. He was in John from Cincinnati. He was in one of the Terminator movies too. Garrett Dillahunt, I think is his name. But I really like him as an actor. Let me go get my Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to finish these by hand. Yeah, I should have gotten the white, not the tan. It's way tanner than I thought. Looks like really cheap makeup. Like rouge. The French word for ugly. Rouge. Okay. So I just want to get it positioned, and then I'm going to mark some position lines. There y'all are. Sorry. So that's what we got. You can see the seam of glue. That worked pretty good. I'm gonna let that cure up. I'm gonna get some sealant to patch up the rest of that wire hole right there and the seam between the two, just so there's no chance of whistling, because that would kind of stink. Alright, I'm calling that one pretty much done. Well, I'm rinsing out my tanks. I don't know if I talked about this. I mixed up, I put a solution of vinegar and water and ran it through all the lines. Then I filled the tanks fully and let them sit, and so now I'm just going to pump them out. So that might not look like much as far as pressure, but when you're outside, that works pretty well for a shower. It's very welcoming when you're in the desert and it's warm water. So it just bypasses. I have this turned off so it just doesn't try to ignite. It just bypasses it right through. Gotta do this one also. That just runs into this. It's a 4.5 gallon container. So on average I have to empty it about every 4 to 5 days, something like that. Just pop this out, slide it out, and take it outside and dump it. You know, I just wash my hands. I don't really put much food stuff at all down there. Okay, turn that one back on now. And then we'll take it outside and empty it. I usually stuff a paper towel up the end of there when I'm doing this. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Just threw the socket set in here for the test drive, just in case, because we're going to be testing all the suspension stuff. Everything is torqued, tightened, and ready to go, so we shouldn't have any issues. We shouldn't have any issues. We shouldn't have any issues. I'll keep you updated on what's going on with the truck, and as soon as I know, I will pass the info on to all of you. With the curiosity, I get it. So as soon as I know, I'll pass it on. So everybody take care, be safe, and we'll see you again really soon.